Good morning and welcome to 11/11. Now that's cool on the calendar, but it's also even cooler when you realize it's Veterans Day. Thank you, veterans. Thank a veteran today and every single day. Now, if you're just starting to do this kind of thing, today's a good day to start, but you should do it every single day, and I'll tell you why. Actually, for selfish reasons. Anyway, we'll get into that. As well as, oh boy. Now, this may be a story that kind of went under the radar in your world, but you should pay attention to this one because it's another big media outlet that tried to slander Trump, this time the BBC. But this is the good news. It's resulted in massive repercussions, which is good. I don't care whether you voted for Trump or not. I don't care whether you like him or not. It doesn't matter. Here's another media outlet, this time foreign-based, that was trying to sow division in our country, but paying the price, and that's a good thing. We'll get to it. Let's talk about paying the price. How about UC Berkeley last night? Every time one of these assholes on TV or on Capitol Hill try to tell you that Antifa isn't a thing, and that's not, they're just not, that doesn't exist. Okay, show them a video from University of California, Berkeley last night and what that was like, because it looks like a war zone and sounded like one too. And more on the media news bubble. Another guy upset about our version of the BBC, which is the Public Broadcasting Corporation. So we'll get into all of that because you know where I'm coming from. The media did all of this. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio on the live stream and the podcast and the replay. Audio podcast listeners only, by the way. Thank you so much for all your support because that's been growing more than any of these platforms. Remember, you just have to press subscribe on Spotify. It's follow, and then you're all set, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. Let's get right to it. All right. It's Veterans Day. Thank you, veterans. Thank you for your service. I'd say it was early 2000s, I think. I made a concerted effort to go over the top. Every time I saw a veteran or talked to one in my life, I would go make a concerted effort to say, thank you for your service. I always would. And I'll give you a little secret behind this, why I do it. First of all, to thank them for what they did. Anybody that served, anybody, in any capacity. Doesn't have to be combat. Doesn't have to be, in a war zone. Doesn't have to be in this era or World War II, God, there's hardly any of those poor guys left, or Korea or Vietnam, anybody that served our country, because I think that sacrifice they've made in any capacity is outstanding. But also this, when you thank a veteran, there's a selfish reason behind this. It makes you feel good. Just gratitude will turn your day around almost instantly. All I can speak of is my personal experience, and it has for me. So thank a veteran. Today's a great day to start, but don't just do it on today because then it seems kind of cheesy. Thank a veteran every chance you get. And a lot of time you're going to get the reaction. It's like, and I'll talk to guys that served and they're like, I never know how to react when people thank me. But I'm like, all right, you're welcome, whatever. Do it anyway. For them, make sure that they're known, that they're appreciated and loved. But do it for you too. Now, there's another weird thing I've noticed throughout the years as I talk about this. I got a lot of friends, a lot of family members that are veterans. But I have a lot of friends that also never served. I never served either, unfortunately. And it's a weird thing that's kind of popped up. It's like they won't go out of their way. They're like, I don't want to, I didn't serve, so I feel out of place like thanking a veteran. No. Do it anyway. Thank them especially. And there's all kinds of ways you can still support, and I think we all should to thank them. That's why this is a special day. But it should be year-round to honor them and thank them. Now, here's a perfect example of somebody that didn't serve but has gone out of his way for 30 years to support veterans. I'm talking about Gary Sinise, the Gary Sinise Foundation. He helps wounded veterans. Now, there's all kinds of great organizations out there. There's a lot of them. I mean, there's Tunnel to Towers, Wounded Warriors. Like I said, the Gary Sinise Foundation. There's a million more that, I'm forgetting about. But still, here's a great example of what they do. And I don't think on the podcast I've ever talked about Gary Sinise's contributions before. But what he does is absolutely amazing. Now, here's a guy that got an actor, that came in contact with a lot of veterans, not being a veteran himself, through the Forrest Gump movie. Remember, he was Lieutenant Dan. Well, he turned his platform into something awesome. Here's somebody that's a celebrity that did something great. Here's a little intro to the Gary Sinise Foundation. If you've never kind of experienced them before, what they do, they're great.
Today, on Veterans Day, we pause as a nation to honor the men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States. Veterans Day is not just about remembering history, it's about recognizing the legacy of service and sacrifice that surrounds us every day. For some, that sacrifice has meant returning home with life-changing injuries. These heroes remind us that the cost of freedom is personal, borne by their bodies and their families, with the daily challenges that most of us will never fully know.
So what do? They turn that and they build accessible housing and programs and efforts for those particular veterans. But like I said, it doesn't have to be all about veterans that came back wounded or changed in any way like that. Thank a veteran, all of them. If you want to give to that Gary Sinise Foundation, all you have to do is look it up online in your own time if you want to give to them, because I can vouch for them. They do great work. So thank a veteran, and thank you, veterans. All right, moving on. Where are we on this shutdown update? It's actually, we should call it now the reopening update. Because as we know, shutdown got filibusted just the other night, but now it goes through. They got to get the House members back from their vacations, and they have to get there and they had the procedural vote. I will tell you, I think I played a video from this guy late last week. He's been doing a really good update on letting everybody know where we are in the process. Mark Wayne Mullen, this guy from Oklahoma, the senator from Oklahoma, he's pretty interesting, and I think he did a good update on where we are in the reopening process last night.
They haven't called the vote, did they? That's 8 is done. Guys, day 41, we just voted to fund the government finally. Yes, the Democrats finally voted with us. Now what happens? The bill's got to go to the House because we had to amend it. We put 3 appropriation bills and we had to change the date to January 30th. Now the House will come in probably tomorrow or Wednesday. They'll vote for it. Then it'll go to the president's desk and we'll reopen. What was this all about? It was always about a political stunt. This is what happened.
Good update there, and I think he's right. And I think for the most part, despite what the media is telling you, despite what the Democrats are saying as they're stumping on Capitol Hill, I think most people realize completely, totally, this was the Democrat shutdown. I truly believe that. And like we talked about yesterday, what are they willing to do? They're willing to inflict harm on the American people for their political gain? Yup. It should tell you, and me, and everybody else, they're willing to do anything. All right, every time those same people who shut down the government tell you that Antifa, the communist organization, the brown shirts, if you will, of the Democrat Party don't exist, or if some asshole like Jimmy Kimmel gets on TV and says, that's a myth, that doesn't exist, it doesn't exist, show them and remind them of this video from UC Berkeley last night. Now, it was another riot on campus. This is no big surprise, but this one was more interesting because it failed. Very violent, a lot of arrests, a lot of beatings, a lot of fights. Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk's organization, simply tried to have an event on campus, and God forbid you try to have a different opinion than these folks. But here they were. This is the scene from last night. UC Berkeley. I went to college in the 90s. There was a lot of opposing thought. It was never anything like this. Looks like a good time, huh? Yeah, there you go. And yet here you have politicians and media people and late night hosts and all these other absolute fools telling you it's not true. It doesn't exist. It's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is. And let me tell you something. If you got somebody in your life that actually says, that Antifa stands for anti-fascist. They're just trying to stop the fascists. Throw this back at them because it works 100% of the time. So you're trying to stop people who have a different opinion from speaking out. I hate to break it to you, Toots. You're the fascist. And there you go. All right, here's one of my favorite stories of the day because this resulted in actual good news. It's going to be infuriating at first, but in another, because I love to take shots at the media because all of these problems we have now the media did all of this, all of it. If we had an actual free press worldwide, I don't think 20% of these problems would exist because people could get the real information and decide for themselves and take action. That's all. Well, here's an organization, the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company. Oh, we are the respected international voice throughout the world. Okay, are you? Are you still? Have you ever been? Because they just got caught red-handed in yet another big lie, another deceptively edited video of your president, President Trump. I don't care if you voted for Trump. I don't care if you hate Trump. I don't care if you love Trump. I don't care. What I think you should care about is another media organization, particularly a foreign media organization, trying to sow division within our country. You prick bastards should not ever get away with this. And they didn't. Now, let me give you the first. I'll start with this, and then we'll work backwards. Here's one of the directors of the BBC caught red-handed, and she had to apologize and resign yesterday. And the timeline's important on this.
I would like to say it has been the privilege of my career to serve as the CEO of BBC News and to work with our brilliant team of journalists. I stepped down over the weekend because the buck stops with me. But I'd like to make one thing very clear. BBC News is not institutionally biased. That's what...
Yeah, you are. And now everybody knows, if they didn't know before, whatever. And you're thinking, why do I care about a story, a foreign story from the BBC where it just mostly went out to, UK residents? And why do I care? Well, because this is, as I said, a foreign media outlet that tried to sow division once again in our country with another deceptively edited video of President Trump. And I was confused about this story on the timeline at first. I'm like, wait a minute. So the video was of the January 6th, just like our media outlets did here, chopped up and made it sound like he was calling for a riot. And I thought, it took them this long to actually discover that they did this? For us, it was January 2021. Like now? Oh, here's the difference. They, unlike our media outlets who chopped it up and lied about it right away and deceptively edited that video, we all know that now, they posted theirs in a documentary, ready for this, a year ago, just over a year ago, October of 2024, right before our election, to get it worldwide. How about that? How about that? Just last year, they were still posting deceptively edited videos about. Now, we know what happened with us, MSNBC and CNN, and even the major networks. CNN did it. NBC did it. I think ABC posted this too. This is the whole thing that led to January 6th and political prisoners and all this other stuff and the January 6th committee, all of that crap. The BBC tried to push this out just last year. Now, this is the deceptively edited video and then really what Trump said. This is the exact video that got those people fired from BBC. This is the good news. The fraudulent one at first, and then the secondary one, what he actually wrote.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Same exact thing that our U.S. media outlets did, except 4 years later. Okay, or really 3 years later. Well, they paid a price. So you've got the president of that news organization, the news director there, all paying a price there. Will they pay another price, though? So apparently from Trump's perspective, and he's been successful in suing directly CBS and NBC for multi-million-dollar settlements. So they don't try it as much over here because he fought back, and you have to fight back. So his legal team apparently personally has sent a strongly worded warning and letter that we may sue you. Screw that. Sue them. I mean, can you imagine if that happened to you or me or anybody else? Now, if we were on that kind of a national stage and somebody deceptively edited a video and slandered you that way, you have to sue them. Otherwise, they're going to be able to do that to anybody. So I hope he does more than just a strongly worded legal letter and a warning. I hope he brings that organization to its knees. And you should be pissed off, and this is why I'm bringing it up. You should be. Whether or not you like Trump or not, I don't care. You should hate that media organizations are willing to sow division in our country. You should rail against that, no matter how you vote or how you stand, left, right. I don't care. This is about common sense, and this is about decency. You can't let these bastards get away with it. So good. Now here's another guy that's in a media bubble. Here's another one of our media experts. Oh, have you ever watched any of the documentaries from Ken Burns? He did the baseball one. He did a Civil War one. He's Ken Burns is, and the lefties at the cocktail parties will always love to bring Ken Burns' name up there. He's like, oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's so brilliant. He's the best. I love his documentaries. Okay, without our PBS and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which was completely biased, but finally Doge cut their money sources because they're government taxpayer-funded media organization that was lying to you. Nobody would ever see his documentaries if that thing didn't exist. So he's all upset now, and he's speaking out against it. Here's Ken Burns on somebody's podcast, railing against, it's just, It's just so terrible that, how are people going to get the news now in rural areas? He actually makes an argument that Americans in rural areas without PBS or the Corporation for Public Broadcasting are not going to be able to get their news. Listen to the media.
It's a big
bubble
deal. They
this guy.
killed the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Incredibly short-sighted. It'll hurt mostly rural communities. Maybe that's their intention. There'll be news deserts. Nobody will be covering the school board or the city council meeting. They'll miss not only the children's and primetime programming, but they'll miss Homeland Security stuff, continuing education, classrooms of.
Whoa, what? That's a new term even for me. And I pay attention to this crap and these people. News deserts? So he's actually making the argument that rural people, that's right, you live on a farm, you're not going to get any news. You're not going to be able to cover, what did he say? The school board meeting and So you got that? If you live on a farm, here's what you're going to have to do to spread the news to your neighbors. You're going to have to stand at the end of your long farm driveway and you have to go, hear ye, hear ye. You're going to have to shout. You're going to have to go on horseback and spread the news farm to farm. But here's the thing. He actually believes that. He actually believes, and a lot of people are like that without his documentaries and without their folks telling you what the news is, that you're going to be in a news desert. And that's the problem. That's a perfect example of the people in the news bubble, like the BBC people we were just talking about. Ken Burns from Public Broadcasting and his, so smart documentaries. And all the people that work at CNN and NBC and CBS. And they've never lived in the real world. They don't live on the farm he's supposedly trying to inform that he's talking about that life. They don't live with you and me, and they talk to other people. He's not even aware that people in rural communities, they all have phones and internet service, and they're not watching PBS anyway, Ken. Sorry to break it to you. It's a different world now, but they don't understand that. They still think that they have the moral high ground, and they're smarter than you and me and everybody else. That's why people like him and people like the BBC lady who just had to resign and the president and all the people at our major networks, even though they're slowly going away, they still don't get it. They still don't understand that we don't follow them anymore. It's over. It's over for these mainstream news networks. It's done. What did he say? News deserts? Oh, that's a new one. I love that. Without us, you'll live in a news desert. They actually believe that. All right, anyway, I got to get out of here. I'm out of material. Go enjoy your news desert. But again, happy Veterans Day. And by the way, this is Happy Veterans Day. You can say happy. It's never Happy Memorial Day, but Happy Veterans Day. And thank a veteran. Today, good place to start, good time to start, but every day. If not for them, for you. The gratitude will turn your day around. It'll make you feel great. All right, thanks for finding me. Thank you, veterans, as always. And there's all kinds of great veterans organizations like the Gary Sinise Foundation, Tunnel to Towers, Wounded Warriors. There's a ton more that I'm even forgetting to mention, but all kinds of ways to help, even if you didn't serve. But thank you for your service to our country. Happy Veterans Day. Make it a wicked awesome Tuesday. I'll talk to you tomorrow.